Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital Today channel. At trial, Scout reveals to the judge that Danny was the one who shot Drew. Drew's jealousy of Willow and Chase, plots to fire a cop? Drew Cain may devise a plan to fire Harrison Chase because he will be extremely envious of Willow Tate's relationship with Harrison Chase. GH's weekly preview shows Chase visiting Willow at Pentonville. Chase will hold Willow's hand to comfort her because she seems worn out from her time in prison. During Chase's visit, the promo focuses on the pair with their hands entwined as they look into each other's eyes. Meanwhile, a close-up of Drew's raging face is shown, so the congressman won't be overly pleased to see his fiancée with her ex in that capacity. Interestingly, the voiceover quotes Dante Falconeri as saying, "Chase has been to see her 3 times ever since Chase visited Pentonville." There's been a lot of mention about Chase potentially getting his badge taken away for his interference in Willow's case. Even the police commissioner, Anna Devane, has cautioned Chase against compromising the investigation because he believes Willow is innocent. At the moment, the woman is the primary suspect in Drew's shooting. Even though everyone, including his wife, Brooklyn Quartermaine Chase, has pointed out Chase's bias toward Willow, he hasn't exactly strayed from the straight and narrow. Drew is working overtime to exonerate Willow and to get her released from Pentonville. Despite that it takes 2 to tango, Drew's jealous rage will steer clear from Willow, but zero in on Chase. Because Drew is so in love with his gal pal, he won't see this as a Willow issue but rather a Chase issue. Could Drew plot a scheme to get Chase fired from the PCPD? Chase's personal and professional lives would undoubtedly be thrown into disarray as a result of this. In any case, even Brooklyn has expressed concern regarding Chase's defense of Willow and potential job loss. Dante's comments about Chase being at Pentonville to see Willow numerous times wasn't placed in the GH preview by accident, so is the ABC soap foreshadowing trouble for the PCPD officer? It's not hard to think that if Drew stumbles across the canoodling, he may take advantage of the situation. It'll kill him to witness it all, but Drew is also someone who thinks quickly on his feet. Could he snap a shot of Willow and Chase holding hands? This is completely inappropriate for Chase to do as both a cop and a husband. Could Drew also distribute the image to the media or post it on social media? Chase would be sure to lose his job and potentially break up his marriage. Drew Cain bravely takes the stand. In a moment that shocks everyone present, she reveals to the judge that Danny, not Willow, was the one who shot Drew. Her revelation stuns the court into silence, unraveling the tightly wound threads of deception and mistaken guilt that have dominated the case. Scout's testimony sends ripples through the courtroom, turning the entire investigation on its head. Up until this moment, Willow Tate has been the prime suspect in Drew's shooting, accused of committing an act she didn't even have the heart to imagine. The truth, that Danny, driven by confusion, fear, or perhaps manipulation, pulled the trigger, leaves everyone stunned, especially Drew, who now faces the painful reality that someone he loves has hurt him more deeply than he ever expected. But even as this shocking truth unfolds, another drama brews in the shadows, one fueled by jealousy, insecurity, and possessiveness, Drew's growing resentment toward Harrison Chase, the man who still holds a deep, undeniable connection to Willow. It all begins innocently enough when Chase, ever the compassionate soul, visits Willow at Pentonville. Life behind bars has taken its toll on Willow, the spark in her eyes has dimmed, her usually calm demeanor replaced with exhaustion and despair. When Chase arrives, his presence alone brings her a measure of peace, a reminder of the warmth and kindness that once filled her life. During the visit, Chase reaches out and takes Willow's hand, his thumb brushing gently across her fingers as he tries to offer comfort. It's an innocent gesture between old friends who've shared a complicated past, but one filled with mutual respect and unspoken understanding. Yet, as fate would have it, the moment is caught by the wrong eyes, or worse, the wrong imagination. Drew's anger flares when he learns of Chase's visits, especially after Dante Falconeri mentions that Chase has been to see her 3 times. For Drew, those words echo like a thunderclap. 3 times? Why so often? His protective instincts and jealousy merge into something darker, a dangerous blend of insecurity and obsession. He's been working tirelessly to clear Willow's name, pouring every ounce of his energy into her defense, but the thought of her turning to Chase, even platonically, feels like a betrayal. The General Hospital promo captures this emotional turbulence perfectly, a close-up of Drew's face contorted in anger as he imagines Willow and Chase's hands intertwined. The scene sets the tone for what's to come, a man once known for his honor now teetering on the edge of vindictiveness. Despite Anna Devane's warnings to Chase about maintaining professional distance, Chase's actions, visiting Willow repeatedly, defending her innocence, and showing overt concern, raise eyebrows at the PCPD. His bias toward Willow becomes increasingly difficult to hide, and even his wife, Brooklyn Quartermaine Chase, begins to question his priorities. Brooklyn knows Chase's heart, she knows he's loyal and kind, but she can't ignore the growing discomfort she feels every time Willow's name is mentioned. Deep down, she fears that the emotional bond between her husband and Willow runs deeper than friendship, and Drew's jealousy only fans that fire. Drew, for his part, refuses to believe Willow could be responsible for the shooting, but his focus shifts. Instead of channeling his energy into finding the real culprit, now revealed by Scout's testimony, he starts fixating on Chase. In his mind, Chase isn't a friend offering support, he's a threat to everything Drew holds dear. The jealousy festers quietly, but powerfully. Drew convinces himself that Chase's involvement in Willow's case isn't about justice, but about rekindling old feelings. And once that idea takes root, it consumes him. Could Drew Cain, once a hero and upstanding congressman, truly stoop so low as to sabotage a police officer's career? The answer, as the show teases, may be yes. Drew has always been a man of action, and when his emotions run high, his decisions can be impulsive, sometimes even ruthless. If he believes that taking down Chase will protect Willow or secure his own place in her heart, he might rationalize the act as justified. After all, Chase's repeated visits could easily be twisted into a narrative of professional misconduct. Drew, with his political connections and media influence, could easily plant a story, leak a photo, or stir the pot in just the right way to destroy Chase's career. Imagine the scene, Drew, lurking in the shadows, witnessing Chase and Willow's tender moment at Pentonville. He sees their fingers intertwined, their eyes locked, and something inside him snaps. It's not just jealousy, it's betrayal, humiliation, and fear, all rolled into one volatile mix. In that instant, he takes out his phone and captures the moment. A simple photo, a single frozen second, becomes a weapon. It's the kind of evidence that, when released to the press or shared online, could ruin a man's life. A married police officer, touching the hand of a woman accused of a crime he's investigating, it's an ethical nightmare. Even if innocent in intent, the optics alone could be damning. Would Drew really do it? The old Drew, the one who valued honor, truth, and fairness, might hesitate. But this Drew, wounded by love, overwhelmed by betrayal, and still recovering from being shot, is not thinking clearly. His emotions have clouded his reason. In his mind, Chase has overstepped, and justice, or vengeance, must be served. Leaking the photo would not only humiliate Chase publicly but also strain his marriage to Brooklyn beyond repair. And that's exactly where the real chaos begins. Brooklyn, already insecure about Chase's lingering attachment to Willow, would see the photo and feel crushed. Her faith in her husband would crumble, and the stable, loving foundation they've built could shatter overnight. Chase, blindsided by the fallout, would face disciplinary action from the PCPD and the wrath of both his wife and his superiors. His reputation as a dedicated cop would be tarnished, and the department's trust in him severely damaged. Meanwhile, Drew would stand on the sidelines, feigning innocence, pretending to be just as shocked as everyone else. But inside, he'd feel vindicated, at least temporarily. Yet, soap opera karma has a way of catching up to everyone, and Drew's manipulative plan wouldn't stay secret for long. Dante, ever the perceptive detective, might start connecting the dots, tracing the leak, questioning motives, and noticing inconsistencies in Drew's behavior. If the truth about Drew's scheme were to come out, it could destroy him far more completely than jealousy ever could. His political career would be in ruins, his relationship with Willow irreparably damaged, and his already fragile sense of morality shattered. Meanwhile, Willow herself would be devastated. After everything she's endured, imprisonment, false accusations, and emotional torment, the last thing she'd want is for the people she loves to tear each other apart on her account. Seeing Drew manipulate a situation out of jealousy would force her to confront some painful truths about their relationship. Is Drew's love truly selfless, or is it possessive and controlling? And what about Chase? Does she still feel something for him, buried beneath years of distance and new commitments? As the courtroom drama unfolds, Scout's revelation about Danny may free Willow legally, but emotionally, it only deepens the storm. Drew's jealousy and manipulation could end up costing him everything he fought for: his integrity, his career, and his relationship. Chase, caught in the crossfire, may lose his badge and his marriage, while Willow is left standing amid the wreckage of two men's egos. In the end, General Hospital thrives on such tangled webs of love, loyalty, and betrayal. The storyline between Drew, Chase, and Willow captures the essence of classic soap opera tension, a perfect blend of moral ambiguity, emotional intensity, and high-stakes drama. With Scout's courtroom bombshell exposing one truth and Drew's jealousy threatening to conceal another, the stage is set for explosive confrontations, heartbreak, and redemption. As the fallout unfolds, one question remains: will Drew recognize the darkness within himself before it's too late, or will his obsession with control destroy everything he holds dear? As the courtroom reels from Scout's shocking revelation, the air grows thick with confusion, disbelief, and barely contained emotion. Danny's name hangs in the air like a haunting echo, and everyone turns to see Drew's stunned reaction. His eyes widen, the color drains from his face, and for a long moment, he can't even move. Scout, trembling but determined, continues to explain what she saw that night. Her small voice cracks as she describes Danny's fear, how he'd found the gun, how he thought he was protecting his father from someone who'd threatened him. The judge listens intently, the defense attorneys exchange stunned glances, and Willow sits frozen at the defense table, tears brimming in her eyes. For weeks, she's lived under the crushing weight of false accusations, blamed for a crime she didn't commit, shunned by those who once trusted her. Now, as Scout's words spill out, a faint glimmer of hope begins to shine in her expression, but that hope is mixed with horror. If what Scout says is true, then Danny's life will never be the same. Drew's mind races. His body still aches from the gunshot wound, but this new wound, emotional, spiritual, cuts even deeper. How could his own son have done this? How could he not have known? He glances toward Danny, who sits quietly in the gallery, eyes downcast, clutching his mother's hand. The guilt in his young face is unmistakable. Drew feels his heart splintering, every instinct in him screams to protect his son, but the truth cannot be ignored. Judge Wallace calls for a recess, giving everyone time to absorb the revelation. The courtroom buzzes with murmurs. Reporters rush out to make calls, typing furiously on their phones. "Kane's son the shooter," one whispers to another. "This will blow up the mayoral race, no question." Drew can already imagine the headlines. His entire career, his public image as a war hero, philanthropist, and rising political figure, could crumble overnight. But that isn't what he's thinking about most. His thoughts drift to Willow, the woman he's been so desperate to protect. When the recess begins, Drew rushes to Willow's side. His voice trembles as he says her name, and she looks up at him with watery eyes. "You believe me now?" she whispers. Drew nods wordlessly. For the first time in weeks, they share a moment of fragile peace, a sense that the nightmare might finally end. But beneath that relief, something else lingers, a deep, gnawing guilt. Drew realizes that while Willow sat behind bars, he let his insecurities, his jealousy, and his obsession with control drive a wedge between them. He remembers the anger that surged through him every time Chase's name came up, the bitter jealousy that twisted his thoughts. Drew knows he overstepped, that his rage nearly consumed him. But what he doesn't know is that his actions are already in motion, spiraling beyond his control. A few days earlier, Drew had indeed snapped a picture of Chase and Willow at Pentonville. It wasn't planned, it just happened. He'd gone there to visit Willow, only to arrive early and see Chase's hand resting gently over hers. His breath had caught in his throat. Rationally, he knew it could be an innocent gesture, a moment of compassion between friends. But jealousy doesn't listen to reason. In that instant, Drew became someone else, not the calm, rational congressman he presents to the world, but a man possessed by hurt and anger. He'd taken out his phone, his hand trembling, and captured the image. Later that night, staring at it again and again, he'd convinced himself that Chase had crossed a line. "He's a cop," Drew muttered under his breath. "He's investigating her case. He shouldn't even be there." The next morning, that same picture had mysteriously found its way into the inbox of a local journalist, anonymously, of course. Now, as the truth about Danny begins to spread, the photo surfaces online. Within hours, the story explodes across social media. Detective Harrison Chase seen comforting female suspect in Pentonville. Conflict of interest? The photo is everywhere, news sites, gossip blogs, even Reddit threads. Chase's phone lights up with messages from colleagues, friends, and his wife. Brooke Lynn is sitting at the Metro court when she sees the image. Her fork clatters onto her plate as she stares at the photo in disbelief. Willow and Chase, hands clasped, eyes locked. She feels her stomach twist painfully. It's one thing to hear whispers of Chase's visits, but to see that intimacy, is something else entirely. Her mind races with questions. Why didn't he tell her? What else has he been hiding? When Chase walks into their apartment later that night, exhausted and frazzled, he finds Brooke Lynn pacing the floor. She holds up her phone, her voice shaking. "Care to explain this?" she demands. Chase stares at the image and feels his heart sink. "It's not what it looks like," he insists, but Brooke Lynn isn't having it. "Then what is it, Chase?" "Because the whole world thinks my husband's sneaking around with another woman, a woman he's supposed to be investigating." Their argument is heated, raw, and emotional. Chase tries to explain that he was only trying to comfort Willow, that she's been through enough, that he couldn't stand seeing her so broken. But every word he says only deepens Brooke Lynn's pain. "You always defend her," she snaps. "You always choose her." The fallout spreads quickly. Anna Devane, already under pressure from the mayor's office for perceived bias within the department, has no choice but to call Chase in for questioning. She hates doing it. Chase is one of her best detectives, but the optics are terrible. "You put me in a bad position, Harrison," Anna says sternly as she closes the office door behind them. "You know how this looks. You know what people are saying." Chase nods, remorse etched across his face. "I didn't mean for this to happen. I just wanted to help Willow." Anna sighs deeply. "I know your heart was in the right place, but sometimes that's not enough. I've got the mayor breathing down my neck, and the commissioner's office wants answers. Until we get this sorted, I'm suspending you, with pay." The words hit him like a physical blow. Chase leaves her office in silence, his badge heavy in his pocket. Outside, Dante waits, his expression filled with sympathy. "You'll get through this, man," Dante says quietly. "But, between us, something about this feels off. That photo came out too clean, too convenient. Someone wanted to take you down." Dante's instincts are rarely wrong. Over the next few days, he starts digging, tracing the photo's digital footprint, talking to sources, and slowly uncovering a trail that leads back to Drew Kane's campaign office. The revelation hits him hard. He doesn't want to believe it. Drew's been through hell, shot by his own son, betrayed by the system, but the evidence doesn't lie. The anonymous email came from a campaign staffer's laptop, one directly connected to Drew's communications team. Meanwhile, Drew's inner turmoil deepens. Scout's revelation has changed everything. Danny's guilt weighs heavily on his conscience, and he's struggling to balance his duties as a father, a public figure, and a man who nearly destroyed someone else's career out of jealousy. His relationship with Willow becomes strained as guilt and paranoia consume him. Willow, now free thanks to Scout's testimony, returns home to a world that feels alien. The whispers in town, the stares from former friends, the pity in people's eyes, it all reminds her that freedom doesn't erase damage. She tries to move forward, to rebuild her life, but the scandal surrounding Chase's photo follows her everywhere. She feels responsible, even though she had no part in it. When Willow learns that Chase has been suspended, she's devastated. She visits him, insisting on setting things right, but Chase refuses. "It's not your fault, Willow," he says gently. "I made my choices." But Willow can't shake the feeling that something more sinister is at play. The way the photo appeared online, the timing of it all, it feels deliberate. And when she confides this to Dante, he hesitates but eventually tells her the truth. "We think Drew might have leaked it." Willow's breath catches in her throat. "No," she says softly, shaking her head. "He wouldn't." But the doubt creeps in. She remembers the anger in Drew's eyes when he saw her with Chase, the way he'd clenched his fists, the cold tone in his voice afterward. "You shouldn't be talking to him anymore," he'd told her once, his words more like a command than concern. When Willow confronts Drew, the confrontation is explosive. "Tell me the truth," she demands. "Did you leak